Okay, so I haven't done one of these in a while, and that is Fanfiction Review, where I basically review fanfiction. And this one is actually something that I recently came across, and I was like, oh, didn't know about this. And that is Haunted Days Ectoplasm by Awesome Rebel 55, who's not only a YouTuber here on YouTube, but he's also a writer on fanfiction. And he wrote this story. Now, to give you a little context of what this is, a little while ago, I talked about a fanfiction idea I had, which was kind of like a loose adaptation of the recent DC event going on called Dark Knight's Metal, which is basically the evil Batman from the Dark Universe invading the DC Universe. And in my cartoon version adaptation, it's instead of evil Batman, it's evil versions of Danny Phantom that have been released by Dan Phantom, his evil alternate timeline self from an alternate future. So that was kind of the idea, and I talked about all the characters I thought of for this story. But one person, Awesome Rebel 55, decided he not only did he leave a comment of talking about characters he'd love to write, he'd love to create, but then apparently went on to make a story. In fact, I didn't even know this was a thing until I just stumbled upon it by accident. I was like, hey, let's see what the, oh, this might be interesting. So, yeah, so Haunted Days Ectoplasm isn't really a direct story to it's not a direct story to Dark Knight's Metal. It's not a full-on story. What it is just 5 one-shots talking about the creation of the evil versions of Danny Phantom. And, yeah, it's kind of like the one-shots they did for each evil Batman for Dark Knight's Metal. You know, like Dawnbreaker, the Devastator, the Undertow. No, it wasn't her name. The evil Batwoman who had Aquaman's powers. You know, stuff like that. So it's a series of 5 one-shots centered around evil versions of Danny. And they're pretty fun. They're nice little short one-and-dones. The evil versions of Danny are Ghost Machine, Bahamut, Astral Spectre, Shinigami, and White Phantom. And they're all from this, they're all from the this dark Danny Phantom universe. And there's some really neat stories to them. It's a nice little horror supernatural story. I really thought it was fun. These are fun little one-shots. I thought it was I didn't really think much of it. I didn't realize, I was kind of flattered when I read this. I was like, oh, man, this is really cool. My only complaint with this is, well, I've got 2 minor complaints, and they're not really complaints. They're more like, they're not even complaints, really. The only 2 things I have to say about this fanfiction is, one, it was too short. Honestly, Awesome Rebel, if you're watching this right now, first off, I love the story, don't get me wrong, but my thing is, you could have kept going. I'm just saying you could have kept going, because I'm going to say it right now. If you're watching this, Awesome Rebel, not only do I give you permission to use the evil versions of Danny Phantom I came up with in my fanfiction idea video for this, but yeah, you can use them and make your own stories out of them, like the evil version of Danny Phantom called the Skull Lord, which he is the bastard son of King River from Star vs. the Forces of Evil, and he basically takes over kills Star, kills Moon, and takes over Muni, and proceeds to launch an invasion on Earth. Characters like that. Also, there was another evil Danny I forgot to mention in my video called Lycan, where in this version of Danny, this one never became a ghost, a half-ghost. Instead, he was turned into a werewolf, and not with ghost powers, just a regular werewolf with just white fur and green eyes. So instead of becoming a ghost child, he became a werewolf that killed everyone, and that basically went on a killing spree in Amity Park. So that was kind of the idea. That was my thing. The other thing is, I felt like, and this is just a minor little suggestion, if you do decide to make this a full-on story, is that I felt like a lot of the stories felt like the origins for each character felt a little the same. where they're all like, oh, Danny was taken over by this or taken over by that, or he got possessed or something, or he merged with something. So I would say that it did feel a little repetitive, but not by much. There was still some originality to it, but the whole story of Danny getting taken over by this or that. I think my favorite is Shinigami. I think my favorite of the 5 is Shinigami, in that it's a nice little story of a gender bend version of Danny Phantom and Rachel Cunningham, and that was a pretty fun story. They're all pretty fun, and the whole surprise of finding out of who's telling the story at the end is a lot of, I thought, was an interesting little twist as well. But yeah, all in all, this is a nice little. This wouldn't probably take up too much of your time. So, like I said, it's only 5 little one-shots, and if the author does decide to increase it, you're definitely going to have a lot of fun with it. Because, like I said, the best way to describe this is more or less the one-shots they did for the Evil Batman and Dark Knight's Metal. So, I will leave a link in the comments below, but you guys, if you want to read it, I'll leave a link. I'm getting tongue-tied. If you want to read this story, I will leave a link in the comments section, in the description below, so you guys can read it. Go subscribe leave a comment on the fanfiction review, excuse me. And hope you all enjoy this. I thought this was a lot of fun, and I'm, can't talk tonight. I thought this was a lot of fun, and I'm pretty sure you guys will too. So once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.